to say hi. Saw a couple people pop in, pop out. I know it's not my regular schedule, but I hope you did get the message if you're watching this on replay. Gonna wait a little bit, see who pops in, say hi, who's here. Say hi in the comments. How come I can't access the comment? Can someone write a comment? Because I'm not sure if the comment section works. Anyone here? Let me know in the comments if you're there, because I don't think my comment section works. What about on my phone? Let's see if it works. Hi, Tracy. Thank you. I wasn't sure my comment section was working because I was seeing people here, but no one was saying hi. So who's here? Yay! So tonight I had to reschedule my live. I was supposed to do 6 o'clock, and then so many things happened today. So I was supposed to drive my son to my parents. He's spending a couple of days there, but everything is closed everywhere on the island of Montreal. So to come back after dropping him off would have taken like 2-3 hours to get back home. So we decided we're going to stay over for dinner. And then we waited that all the red on the map of Google Map went like green, so that it only takes us like the regular 50 minutes to get back home. And on my way back home, I scheduled a live knowing that I was going to be here about 8:45. And I'm so happy I was able to make it. So this is why tonight's live is a little bit different than usual. This will not be regular. It's just I had so many things to celebrate with you guys. So many things has happened in the last 2 weeks. So last week I wasn't here. I wasn't live. I had Friday night, during the night, I had like high fevers. I wasn't feeling well, and then I fell ill. And then the G word hit my house. I had gastro, and I was like feeling miserable for at least 48 hours. That's why Sunday last week I did not have a live. But I've been such a busy bee. I've been publishing, filming all my Every Bits Counts challenge. And then so many milestone has happened since I started doing the challenge. So let me see. So I want to share everything with you guys. It's because of all of you guys that I'm able to share this. So at the end of the month, earlier on this month, so August 14th, I celebrated the milestone of 1,300 subs. I was super excited because I've been hitting a plateau. It wasn't like my channel was not getting out there as much as I thought. And since March, since I got monetized, I was having such a hard time. And then with this challenge, Every Bit Counts challenge that I'm doing, I was able to reach 1,300 subs. And I was super excited because, you know, when you're doing what I'm doing and you're plateauing for many months and like you're not seeing anything move around, and when you're starting to see stuff moving around, it's so exciting. So that happened. Yay, 5 months. Woohoo! Hello, Dave. And then The day after that, I got a message from two buddies saying that I uploaded my 400th video. So since I started 2 yearish, over 2 years, I have officially published 400 videos. When you think of it, that's a lot of videos. And then, so August 14, 15. So 3 days later, I get another message from two buddies saying that I hit another milestone. So 1,400 subs. So that was like, yay, I was so excited. I was super happy because this year I would like to finish the year at 2K. So I'm like, okay, so I'm getting back on that horse. I was so excited. And I think that happened on the weekend that I got sick. So I wasn't able to share that with you guys. And then 3 more milestones happened since then. So you guys watched me 75,000 times. So I had the milestone of 75,000 views. So I was like blown away. 75,000 views on all my 400 videos. It was amazing. And then you guys blessed me even more. More subs were coming my way. So on the 19th, 1.5, 1,500. And then I woke up the day after, the next morning, and I'm now celebrating 1,600 subs. I am I'm not without words. Like, that is within the entire month of August. So I started the month of August. I was at 1,200, I think 50 something. That's like 300 and something subs, like within 20 days. So if you're new and you're watching this on replay, welcome to the channel. I am super excited. I hope you find what you're looking for. Thank you for supporting me. And I cannot believe that I'm celebrating this milestone. So I'm so excited. And I want to say thank you. So I'm seeing Dave and I'm seeing Tracy. Is there anyone else? Thank you. So you just got back from outside. So what's happening other than that? So that was like a lot of milestone in like 20 days. Super exciting, super cool. But also behind the scenes, you guys are seeing like partially what I'm doing, because like filming everything for the Every Bit Counts challenge, I have to film every single day. So you guys are seeing me every day, and I'm filming about an hour of everything I do every day, and then I cut, and then you guys get the final 5-10 minutes of every day and all the preserving I'm doing. Thank you. So I'm pretty much preserving a lot every single day. There's days that it's slower. Like on the weekends, I try to preserve something. Like today, I only have 2 quarts of, what did I do today? I tried a new recipe, beef stroganoff. And then yesterday, I just canned, yesterday was a bean canning session. There's days that I just harvest like stuff and I dehydrate it because like I have so many things to do. So because of all the rain and all the weeds that I have, because I've officially, since the beginning of the month, lost control of my garden. My husband calls it like the jungle. There's places in the garden I have knee-high weeds that I have to take care of. I had to pass the weed eater in my garden so that I can find my onions because the weeds are like as tall as my knees. So then I pass the weed eater and then I find my onions after that. No, this is something I've mentioned. I think I've published that video. So yeah, I think it was this week's video. When I had the gastro, I just decided I was going to take a day off. And then the day after that, I just went in the garden and I just took a pair of scissors and harvested like, I think 20 handfuls of like bouquet stuff I had. And then I just washed it and air dried it. It's still drying on my counter. So I'm not pushing myself, because another thing I say in that video is that years prior, I would pressure myself a lot. Preserving. I have to preserve 2-3 recipes every day and blah, blah, blah. And yes, obviously it was fun at the end of the month. But after the Every Bit Counts challenge, for me, it's not finished. Like, September is still a very, very productive month. Like, the garden will produce probably, well, depending on the season, but if I look back the 5 previous years, it did not freeze in September. It froze in sometimes the first week of November. Some other years, like, it was towards the end of the month of November. So we had risk of frost, but it was never really freezing. So if I have a garden going through November, that means I'm preserving food at least daily in September. So every single day now I'm preserving, but that's still keeping going in October. And I have my wedding anniversary. It is hunting season. Now my husband will is officially now a hunter. So we're looking for options. So wedding anniversary, my daughter's birthday, hunting season, the garden, closing everything, preparing for colder months. So yes, it's important not to get burned out, especially in the month of August, because there's still a long period before the rest. I would say rest for us here is end of the month of November, the first couple of weeks of December. That's where my down period starts from the work outside. So during the colder months, I always take a break. I need to stop thinking about the homestead, but then right after the holidays, I get back on the horse. I flip the inventory of my pantries, my freezers, and like I note if there's anything that I'm lacking, if I need to like go get dry beans, or if there's meat that needs to be processed, empty out freezers. Like, I remember last year we had trouble with one of our freezers. We had to empty it, remove all the ice, and then we were able to make it work again. And then we brought it back inside and it was working. But like, there's always something to do. It's not as busy, but there's always something to do. So very important. You are absolutely right, David. Dave. Reading the comments. So what are you guys working on in your garden? What's to come? Oh, I forgot to say something. So as I was at my parents', my dad was working all day today, and I know that it's supposed to rain. Well, rain is ridiculous. It always comes every couple days here, and I saw that a lot of his tomato plants had a lot of tomatoes on them. And I decided, Dad, I know you've worked all day, and I didn't work in my garden today. So I ended up harvesting a couple of baskets of tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, paste, and slicers. And I'm like, Dad, like, what are you going to do with all this? He's like, I don't know, I'm so tired. So I ended up leaving at least, I think, with 10, 15 pounds of the tomatoes that I harvested. So that's going to be fun. Yay, the shed's coming. Awesome. Yeah, weeds here are ridiculous. So this week I have to find time to pass the weed whacker here and regain somewhat some control, because it's crazy. There's rows I can't even access anymore at all. So I'm thinking a couple of things this year. And usually I weed the garden and then let it fall asleep. But I think this year I'm going to try something different, because like weeds, I don't know if it's in the compost I bought this year, because it said the compost had no weeds. But seriously, it's one of the worst years. Well, probably because it's raining so much. Because years prior, I always lacked water. So this is the first year ever since I moved here that I don't have to water the garden at all. There's always rain at least every couple of days. And it's not like tease me rain. It's like rain. And probably that's one of the reasons why my weeds are doing as well as the rest of the garden. But sadly, because of all the water and the lack of sunshine, my tomato plants are looking so sad. And because sometimes at night it reaches like close to, I don't know if you can help me, Tracy, but here some nights it dips like around 13, 14 degrees Celsius. So it's not that warm. Peppers don't like that. So I don't know if the peppers will do anything this year. So first week of September, I mow down the outside. Then I will grow in the high tunnel. Then I can travel. Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot of rain. There's a lot of rain this year. So I didn't even need to collect rainwater this year. Like, it's always full. My 1,000 liters is always full. So next year, we're looking, like we found a couple of systems that we want to use the rainwater for the chickens. So if it rains like that next year, it's like what we're looking into right now is a pond that is outside of the chicken coop that so the rainwater will drop in the pond. The pond will attract beneficial insects and critters and all of that. And well, not critters, but like, you know what I mean? And then we take that water, we put certain rocks in it, certain plants in it, and add a pump and something else. I can't remember the name. Like it takes the water and I'm losing my English tonight. So it throws the water back. So it makes an air circulation in the water so it doesn't get stagnant. And then we take that water that is now filtrated by either rocks, plants. I have to read the entire article. And then we give it to our chickens. That would be such a blessing that we are able to. Yes, that's what I was looking for. But there's another thing. I'll show you the picture. A fountain. So it's a solar fountain that, like, there's a pump, there's an air fountain, and then the aerator. Thank you. And like it creates like a perfect environment, filtrate water so that I can give it to the chickens. I cannot put the pond inside the chicken coop because my ducks will make a mess out of it. So I can't do that. Yeah, same thing. May, towards the end of the month of May, we had a drought here and we've reached close to 40 degrees Celsius and I had a water band. So unfortunately, my watering system was not set up. So I wasn't able to collect the early May water. So I had to sacrifice a couple of rows in the garden. So my carrots got sacrificed. I had 5 rows of that. There was a couple of rows I had to sacrifice, like my tomatoes, my seedlings, and all of that. I was watering because they're the base of everything I'm doing. But there's the things that I can buy at the food market or at the grocery store that are local. I just sacrificed. So in May and early June, I had to water. I remember a couple of nights where I was outside getting eaten alive by bugs. And I'm like, I hope I don't have to do this 3 times a week, 2-3 hours every night being eaten alive and do like the dance of like punching myself every couple of minutes because I'm being like blood sucking all for so many hours. But so end of June, July, and up till now, I haven't watered the garden. There is one thing I forgot to do. I forgot to fertilize the garden once. So that's something I have to do this week. I also have to fix my tunnel because Dave told me that I have to grow food inside my tunnel, but I have no roof. So I have no idea how that's going to go. So my roof was ripped. So when we had the ice storm, part of it was damaged. Nothing like bad, but it's like it started ripping with all the water we were getting. So we just removed the top. So that also was a blessing because usually I have to water my tunnel. But this year, since I had no top, no ceiling, I saved all of that water and all of that time. But next year, many things will change. There's things I have to let go this year because lack of time and sometimes lack of motivation. Let's be honest. There's days that being a homesteader sucks because you want to go play with your kids, or you want to go out and about camping and blah, blah, blah. So there's stuff that I'm probably no longer will grow so that I can at least maintain my sanity. And I'm going to talk about it probably during a live later on this year, but there's many things I will not come back, at least next year. Or if I am not changing my plans, it's going to be in smaller quantities. So instead of preserving, so having the quantity to preserve, I'm just going to have the quantity to enjoy fresh. So depending of what I decide to do, but definitely I have to find a natural row cover. I know that I'm not going to be doing back to Eden gardening because I would need too much wood chips. So it's going to be literally impossible to do that. My in-ground garden is now probably approximately 42 by 50. So doing the back to Eden garden just with that would be completely ridiculous. Like I'm going to have to ask for a boatload being delivered. And I got a quotation for it because here they don't deliver it for free. When he told me the price, I'm like, you're nuts. You're out of your mind. I'm not doing that. So I'm looking for alternatives so that I can have natural row covers. Because I don't want to buy rolls of row covers. Like I saw the price and it is a huge investment. And you need to remove it, store it, and then reinstall it in the spring and all of that. And if I look at all my early season, so if I look at March, April, May, I'm like a chicken running with no heads. So if I am being honest with myself, I probably won't have time to broad fork and then add my layers because I'm going to do it all on my own. So it's going to be like unrealistic. Yeah, absolutely. So I've been debating this for back and forth for so many years, and I think I'm going to do it. So we found a place nearby that was selling, I can't remember if it's hay or straw that's organic. So I think at the end of the season, I'm gonna either, if I can find compost in the fall, get it delivered, broad fork, put my compost, and then add a thick layer of straw or whatever. And I have it's not a silage tarp, it's like a blue tarp that we have laying around here. I think I'm going to lay that on my garden in the hopes of killing all the weeds. And then obviously where I have to figure out where my garlic is going to get sown and like work around that. But I think that's what I'll be doing this year. I would love to buy a silage tarp, but it's $300 investment minimum. And if I can't find compost this year, I probably will still put the straw because it's probably like mostly going to decompose during the thaw. If not, I can remove it, put the compost on top of it, or remove it if I can, figure something out. Because like when you look in your garden and like you don't know what is the path and what is the vegetable, it's kind of it gets discouraging, and then you get overwhelmed, and then you get pissed off because for so many reasons, and like it's annoying. No worries, I'm not staying long. No worries. Talk to you later. I wanted to chat with you guys because I haven't been on in a while. So I was planning on staying about an hour. So good luck tomorrow for your shed. I hope everything goes well. So that's it. That's what I'm thinking right now. And then adjusting a little bit my style. Like I'm going back and forth on certain ideas. Like I know it sounds crazy to be in my 2023 gardening season and then thinking about 24. Like I'm not even done with this one, and I'm already starting to write in my journal about what I'll be doing next year, because it's all fresh. I'm living it. I'm in it. My 2 feet are doing it, walking it. And if I can find ideas right now and put it on a piece of paper, and then during the colder months when I'm going to sit down and do my gardening planning, like I'll have a head start. I won't have to, how did this go? How did this do? Did I do this way? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm writing down the varieties that did very good this year. Like, for example, I have cucumbers this year, which I never do. I never have cucumbers. It's the first year that I have an abundance of cucumbers, which is not something I'm very used to. So I've planted with different techniques my cucumbers. So I planted early from seeds inside. And then as soon as I transplanted my cucumbers, I sowed 2 seeds right next to it. I did also with my zucchinis, because I have cucumber beetles, squash bugs, and vine borers for the zucchini. And for the cucumbers, I have the cucumber beetles. And this year, because of the heat, they came early. So my thought process with that was that the vines that has flowers will be eaten alive. So they're sacrificial. And then the 2 seeds that I have in the ground will be my backup plan. And it seems to have worked. And I've sown my inside as soon as I transplanted. And then I had like this wonderful idea. I was going to go through my seeds. I have older seeds. I sowed a second sowing of cucumbers, and they're starting to produce right now. So they are like long cucumbers. So I'm not entirely sure if they're going to get to maturity. It was an experiment. So I have a lot. This year I was able to do relish. I did dill relish. It's awesome. So if you're looking into a recipe for cucumber relish, I suggest the Amish counting book, dill. I think it's dill pickled relish, something like that. It's really good, and it's really simple. It's easy, not complicated. And I also tried another one with peppers. And I still have a pound or 2 left that I have to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I have so many relishes this year. So many relishes. It's crazy. So I've done a zucchini relish. I've done a relish with peppers and cucumbers, which is a classic one. And then I did a hot pickled pepper relish. And then I did the dill relish. So I'm gonna have a lot of relish this winter. That's a good idea. I have to show you guys my pumpkin patch. It's like it has a mind of its own. I've given it like space to like run wild, and that's what I've done. And I can't even find the stems anymore. So, same thing as my summer squash. My winter squash, I decided to go with the varieties. So, there's three varieties in squashes. So, there is uh, Moshata, Maximum, and Peppo. Peppo being zucchini, pumpkins, uh, and then Moshata is like uh, there's a couple like I'm trying to find. So butternut is all the butternut like Canada Crook snacks similar to that are Moshata, which is a stem that's very hard for them to bore. And then the Maxima is they still end up boring it, but it's harder for them. But then the Peppo, it's like they crave that, so they bore that one first. So this year, I did the same thing as my cukes. I've put two seeds right after I transplanted. So I have some that died, and then when those died, I had a backup. And then I I had volunteers because where I planted my squash, my melons, and my pumpkins is where my chickens used to be last year. And last year I gave them a lot of like rest of pumpkins, whatever I had. I've bought butternut and like they have the insides. So I have like at least 10 plants that volunteered and they're like everywhere within that. So it's a crazy chaos thing. So I am not able to do the DE this year. But wood ash, I've never thought of it. So I know that if I have like one or two plants, I wanted to do the aluminum foil. You wrap your squash with the aluminum foil. But a friend of mine is doing something, and if that's one of the crops that I'm hesitant if I'm growing next year. So if I do not grow squash, then I'm going to wait 1 year or two so that when the vine borers come out next year, they're going to be, okay, so I have no food here, so I'm going to leave and then go someplace else. Or I saw someone do this. They sacrifice part of their plants. So zucchinis and everything, they transplant them outside, protected from everything. So they have like these domes, net domes that they create, or like a row cover, and they transplant their zucchinis around the 1st of July till mid of July for my growing zone, for zone 5. And they can't access them. Like the cucumber beetles are going to come out. They're going to be, oh my God, there's no food for us. And the vine borers are going to come out and it's like, I can't access the food, so I'm just going to leave. So if I do squash next year, summer squash, that's what I'll be doing. I'm going to be planting it very, very late or skipping the year. As for butternut winter squash type, I might like just grow 3 plants and do like a TP. I'm going to use like maybe 3 grow bags, do like a TP and literally wrap them around and sacrifice the couple of first fruits. And then in the end of the month of July, start opening it so that, or manually hand pollinating the flower, the male and the female, so that I can have somewhat some squashes. But it is time consuming. So I don't know. I have a farm here. Every year they call it ugly squashes. They're $1 each. And I could go with my budget and like buy 20 squash and have 20 squash for the entire month, colder months. So I have to pick and choose my battles because I'm doing this on my own. Yeah. And me from Mama Homemade was able to find 100 feet long, very high quality netting. And she says it's a game changer for her. All of her cabbage family is under the nets. Even her garlic this year. Some of her garlic, some of her onions were under netting. I wasn't able to buy the nets this year. I'll see next year if I am able to. If I'm not, I don't know. Cabbages is one of the questions that I'm asking myself because I grow a lot of cabbage. I have a lot of space dedicated to cabbages in the garden. And because of the fluctuation of the temperature, the lack of water, and all things that I experienced during the year, I don't get that much. So broccoli and cauliflower and cabbages, I don't get that much. So I have the option of growing, like example, in one row cabbage, I can grow 15 cabbages. Is it 15 or 10? I think it's 10. So next year, if I decide to grow cabbages, it's only going to be 10. So 5 Asian or 4 Asian, and then 3 reds, 3 greens, mix and match different varieties. So I have different harvesting and then just eat them fresh. And then at the end of the season, transplant on July 15th, all like maybe another row of 12, 15 cabbages. Same thing with cauliflower and broccoli. So just have like one row of 12 broccoli. And I'm probably only going to harvest like 70% of broccoli and maybe 60 to 70% of the seedlings that I've transplanted of cauliflower. So I have to decide, like, do I want this bottle? It's not working at the moment. So either I have to look into, maybe it's something stupid that I'm doing, lacking water, lacking nutrient, or blah, blah, blah. If it's something stupid like that, I will continue doing that. But if it's like, if I have to fight for my food because I can't afford the netting, well then I'm going to concentrate on stuff that I don't have that much issues growing. But I was given a netting. I have to measure it. So if it's a 30 feet long, 30 feet or 50 feet long, I might be able to do it. But like I have to measure it. It would be nice to be able to grow 24 heads of cauliflower, 24 heads of broccoli, but I've never been able to. I either lose battle with pest or weeds. So if I'm going to go down the route of the straw or hay, I might just buy some hay and straw more than usual because that's for my animals, and just put everything down after the compost in the spring and just like move it around, plant my stuff, and then bring it back closer to the plant so that I have like somewhat control over the weeds. So I know that I will have some either hay or straw that's going to grow, but I'm sure it's not going to be as bad as like my knee-high weeds that I'm having right now. That's all of the stuff that I'm thinking right now. So squash is one of them. Cabbage is one of them. Onions, I know I'm going to grow because now I am able to grow onions from seeds. I just need to figure out spacing. And obviously, if I would have weeded my onions, they would be huge this year. But I wasn't able to tackle that task this year. Well, the thing is, if I want to grow cauliflower and broccoli, I have to transplant them the week of April 20th to April 30th. And if I don't have any high lows and temperatures, they're going to be ready for, I think, June. But this year, since I had a water band, kind of got screwed. So yes. But I did have a lot of my broccoli that bolted. I do have some 45 days for broccoli. I think broccoli I have 55 days and cauliflower 45. But for a reason, it never happens. Like I always go surpass that. So this is like where I have to sit down and figure out if I'm doing something wrong, or it's literally because the weeds and I'm not adding enough compost or whatever the reason. This time of year around here, we can usually purchase garden fabric and similar stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of clearance right now. It's just I can't add it to my budget. We are getting a pork in a month and a half. Can't remember when I'm getting it. So the budget is going to that. And because everything is going high in price, we don't know how much it's going to cost. So I'm trying to keep as much as the budget as like available to that. But I know that there's going to be sale probably up till like November. So after the pork is purchased, I'll see if I can get my hands on that. But like we have a tarp that's 100 feet square, like 100 by 100. And it's blue. So I'm guessing that if I put heavy layer of straw and then I add that on top, I'm sure that I will be able to kill most of them. Well, that's the plan at least. But silage tarp would definitely be on my wish list. Like I would love to have a silage tarp. If I had the choice of silage tarp or that woven ground fabric, I would go for a silage tarp. Obviously, I would always also love to have the row covers, like the high end ones that you can reuse year after year after year. That would be nice. But silage tarp would definitely help me. Before I let you guys go, and there's only 2 people here, let me know what's happening for you guys this week. What are you planning on? What are you doing? Because I looked at the date today and it's August 20th. School starts in 10 days for us. Well, not for us, but I mean for my kids. And colder temperatures are like knocking on our doors. And end of the season sales for fruit trees are coming, bushberries, perennials that need to be planted soon. Anything are you working on? I know that my food forest was supposed to be planted in April, May, June, I can't forget. I have one of the garden beds built. Now I have to fill it and then plant it. So I'm hoping in September I will be able to plant some of my berries, at least most of them. Yes, tomatoes. So it's definitely tomato season for me. I'm harvesting about 10 pounds, 10, 15 pounds. And I have to harvest them early this year. They're like, do I have one nearby? Do I have one nearby? I know I harvested a couple. So this year I have, because of all the water, I have critters eating my tomatoes. So I have to harvest them like as soon as they start changing color. Like I'm not even letting them ripe on the vine. So I harvest a little bit every other day, and then they are laid on my kitchen table, and I let them change color to full red, and then right now I'm freezing them. Yay! 5-gallon bucket of potatoes I'm counting either tonight or tomorrow. Tonight is very late. I hope you're a night owl. I also have to check I had some potatoes in grow bags. I'm not sure what they'll do. I did fertilize them, I think at least once, and I added some compost to that. So I think I'm going to go and check out what's under there. I probably I'm hoping. So this is my hope. So I have 4 7-gallon bags that I planted 4 seeds of potatoes in there. And then I have a 1 5-gallon bucket that I put 3 potato seeds in there. And I had I think I had 6. So I'm hoping that I'm going to have 10 pounds. I'm hoping that all of that will be 10 pounds. If I have 20, it would be even better. But I'm hoping to have 10 pounds. Not sure I will be counting those because I don't know if you can can new potatoes. I think you have to let them dry so that the skin can come off. I'm still new to potatoes. I know this week I want my farm stand closed last year. I was super, super sad. So they had access to greenhouse, they had land, they had corn, beets, carrots, and all of that. But they sold everything and I lost that. So normally I would buy second quality carrots, 50 pounds for like super cheap, and I would can them. Usually I do this like around this time of year, but sadly they've closed. So I don't know where I'll find my 50 pounds of carrots that I normally can. Yeah, I think this year it's going to be that. So sometimes I bring back my tomatoes from the garden in like my slicers, and they have like this bottom weird thing going on. And I have like these critters, they're like trying to eat their way inside my tomatoes. I'm like, you're going to the chickens, you're not eating my tomato. And I've made like a very hard decision this year. I only have 10 slicers. 11 plants of slicers. And I'm looking at them this year and I'm like, oof, I'm not going to have a lot of slicers. So I think last year I had 35 or 40, and I went from 40 to 11. That's one decision that I'm regretting, because it's fun to bring the flavorful of the flavor of slicer tomatoes. I know there's a lot of water in the slicers, but when you bring the flavor of a yellow, a black, or like a pink, those flavorful heirlooms, you add that to your tomato sauce, it like brings like this depth of flavor. And this year my plants are not doing very well. So next year I'll have to add at least one more row of slicers. Cherry tomatoes, I have 11, 12, 13, 14 plants, which is fine. Like, I don't have too much. And one of them being prairie fire. It's a Roma type looking cherry tomatoes, and it holds up on the table longer. So it's like a storage tomato. So I have 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4 or 5 plants of those. And I have 4 plants of Sun Gold, 4 plants of Sun Chocolat, 2 plants of another one. So that's 10. And then the rest is Prairie Fry or Fire Prairie. So number wise, more than that for cherry tomatoes would be like ridiculous. I'm not there yet. Soon. I think this year I might reach that point. So one of the things I think I'll be doing is I'll be freezing a lot of my tomatoes and my peppers so that recipes I can do during the colder months, I will be able to do. So I can do tomato sauce, I can do enchilada sauce, pizza sauce, and there's another one. I can freeze that and then do it later on. But diced tomatoes and salsa, I can't. Like, I could, but it's like the texture of the salsa would be different. But I'm going to do my salsa and my diced tomatoes and then sauce. If I'm out of jars, I'm going to wait that I'm going to bring the inventory down. So like I'm trying right now to eat at least 1 or 2 jars a day so that I can have a good rolling inventory of my jars. But I might hit that mark with 1 liter jars this year. Like I can't believe that I'm towards the end. I have less than 100 500 ml jars. So that's a pint size jar. So next year I have to buy at least 5 cases of pints and 5 cases of 1 liters. Also, I do have a lot of breakage this year. So my jars are old, so I bought them used. When I started, I did not have the money to buy all of my cases new, so I went and I shopped around for 20 cents, 25 cents to 50 cents used. And some of them were like name brands that is not even available anymore. So they're still official mason jars, but the companies are no longer in business. So they are starting to break, they are starting to crack. And sometimes when I do pressure canning, I have some accidents. So at this point, I had 4 jars crack on me this year. And I had 10 that had little kinks in them. So that's an entire case right there that I have to replace. So next year, at least, I have to buy 5 of each. So guys, I am literally exhausted. I'm gonna finish the live now. I want to thank you again for supporting me, being here with me tonight, even though I changed the time. And I will publish my video probably Monday or Tuesday for my Every Bits Counts challenge. And after that, I will chat with you guys on Sunday. So take care, everyone. Bye. Have a nice week.